2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We live in a world with many different countries, and in those different countries are different cultures. For example, American culture. What do we like? What do we have in our culture? One thing would be sports. We love sports, like football, baseball, soccer, you name it, we watch it on a daily basis. And food. We also like food. We've actually gotten to the point where we turn food into an art. Say when you go to a 4 or 5-star restaurant, they give you that plate that's beautifully decorated, and it's almost a shame to eat it because it's just so amazing, right? But you didn't spend like $100 on a plate just to leave it there. No, you're gonna eat it. But I'm not here to tell you about American culture. I'm here to talk to you about Japanese culture and a specific type of clothing significant to the Japan country called a kimono. Now, what is a kimono? A kimono is a type of dress or garment that the men, women, and children of Japan wore during ancient times and still wear today. Now, before I get to the cultural topic of the kimono, I want to tell you about the word itself by going to the Nara period. Now, during this period, according to MIT's website, the Nara period lasted about a duration of 84 years. Now, during this time, the word kimono itself literally meant, when translated, something to wear. Another rough translation would be clothing or clothes. Now, during this period, the people wore just simple, separate upper and lower garments, and even a one-piece garment. There was nothing significant about this type of clothing, and it was just for like an everyday use thing. That's not and it stayed that way until we get to the Heian period. Now, during this period, this is where the kimonos that we know of originated from. The people during this time, the makers of the kimonos, used a straight line cut method. This method is exactly the way it sounds. They cut the fabric in straight lines, straight pieces, and then they sew them together, which gives the kimono its basic structure, its basic T-shaped form. Now, this had many advantages. One of the first ones would be it was comfortable during the summer because they made it from breathable fabric called linen. And also, during the winter, they could wear it in layers. Another advantage was that the makers of these kimonos didn't have to worry about the user's shape, height, or size, because it was basically a one-size-fits-all type of kimono. And it stayed like this until the Kumakara and the Muromachi period. During these times, the people started asking themselves, how can we express our love for everyday life and nature into this type of clothing? So they incorporated seasonal colors into the kimono. As you can see on the image behind me, the woman on the left is wearing like fall-type colors, an orange kimono with a bright red skirt. And on the man on the right is wearing like a spring-type kimono with 2 different shades of green on his kimono. And this is the beginning of how the Japanese people started expressing themselves through their clothes. Now, we get to the Edo period. During this period, the people of Japan start asking themselves another question. How can we make these kimonos more fashionable? So they started using different types of fabric. They started doing multicolored types of fabric, giving it more color, more bright radiance. Now, they started using different types of dyeing techniques, one of which helped make different types of complex patterns like birds and flowers. And because of this, the kimono started becoming more popular in Japan and the surrounding countries. And as you can see, the young women started wearing the color red because it symbolized glamour and youth. Now we get to the Meiji period. During this period, the people of Japan, the government of Japan, was greatly influenced by Western culture. So they started encouraging their people to start wearing Western clothes. So the Japanese businessmen started wearing suits and ties, and the school system started allowing the kids to start wearing Western school uniforms. The reason for this was because Japan wanted to catch up with modern times and not be like one of the few countries stayed with the traditional times. Now, even to this day, the kimonos aren't being used as much. They are only being used for formal occasions like tea ceremonies, weddings, birthdays, and stuff that are relevant to Japan only. Just because they're not using the kimonos as much as they used to back then, doesn't mean that the kimono isn't a reminder of Japan's long and hard history, and also another reminder that how the Japan greatly influenced the kimono by adding things with the love of art, the love of the nature, and the love of clothing with it. Now, does anybody have any questions?
What color kimono did men and women wear?
Well, the men mainly wore different types of colors, but mainly dark colors like black, dark brown, dark green, and dark blue. The women wore bright colors like yellow, orange, and colors like that.
How do they store them?
Well, there's only pretty much one way to store them. You had to have it folded, kind of like a towel or regular t-shirt, by folding along the straight edges of the kimono, and have it stored in a dark closet because sunlight will greatly damage it. And if you have it hung on a hanger, all that applied pressure, since the kimono is so long and kind of heavy, during the time, it's going to start separating the fabric.
How much are they worth today?
Well, today, they're more worth like different types of things. Like the cheapest ones are $5, $5 US. And the most expensive can go up to $10,000 to even $20,000.